My name is Bonnie. I'm a lawyer licensed in Alberta and Ontario, Canada. So, this is the first one of our new series. And the new series is about AI tools. So, basically, I want to introduce you and review a few AI tools which I think we all can use in our practice. I personally feel that artificial intelligence or AI, known as AI, is the new thing for all of us, and it makes us and our practice fairly easier as lawyers. So, today we're going to be presenting you with a new immigration AI tool, which is known as Visto. And this is the very first show, the AI show, I call it, and the very first one of our series. So I would love to know your, any AI tools you want me to look into or anything you have in mind. Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to review them, use them, and review them for you. Okay, so let's get started. It's called Visto AI, and today we're going to be speaking with the CEO, who is Josh. He has been a legal practitioner, an immigration lawyer, and now has started Wisto since a few years. So the best thing to do if you're interested would be book a demo. And this website lists the key features and gives you an introduction on what exactly Wisto is. You can take a product tour, know about the pricing, which sort of works like a subscription. And this website also gives basic information about their mission, about why they started it, and the whole team. Hi, guys. So we're back with our guest today. This is Josh. So Josh is
Hey Bonnie, how are you?
hey, I'm good. How are you? So Josh is, like I said, explained before, he is the CEO and co-founder of Wisto. And let's have Josh tell us a little bit about himself.
Yeah, thanks Bonnie for having me on the show. Very excited to be here. My name is Josh. I'm an immigration lawyer by trade based in Toronto, and I've been in the immigration industry since around 2017 when I started my own practice. And to make a long story short, I spent a few years building a pretty niche like corporate immigration firm, doing a lot of LMIAs and work permits and express entry and that kind of stuff. And I'm always looking, this goes, I guess, even beyond my law career, looking to make things more efficient, right? I hate spending time on stupid stuff, for lack of a better term. And so when I was practicing and trying to scale the firm, I was always trying new tools, new platforms, new options to prepare immigration files quicker for my clients. And quite frankly, just couldn't find a good one. So eventually, I co-founded Visto with a good friend of mine, Alex. He's our CTO. He builds all the software. And we're building a platform that basically I wish I had when I was practicing.
Sounds good. Now I'm practicing, so I'm probably gonna end up using Visto like we decided before. So I'm gonna go back and forth and ask you a few questions for our show. And like I explained to my viewers, gave them a little heads up on the website and what we're going to be looking at today. Because I think AI tools is fairly new for everybody. I think the biggest launch of the past 2 years was Chat GPT, and I think after that, there's been so much awareness with when it comes to artificial intelligence and tools. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions just so we get a gist of what exactly is Wisto. So my first question is, what is Wisto? And I'm just gonna club this with another question: is that how did you get inspired to make Wisto and the software as a whole?
Yeah, Visto's really an immigration workflow platform. So what I couldn't find when I was practicing was a platform that helped me do the one thing that took me the most amount of time as a lawyer, right? Which is not necessarily billing, not necessarily, emailing back and forth, blah, blah, blah. It was preparing immigration applications, right? Preparing work permits, preparing LMIAs, communicating back and forth with my client, having documents back and forth, sending for e-signature, et cetera, et cetera. So, as I kind of mentioned earlier, when I was practicing and I couldn't find one platform that did those things very well, I was like, I guess this is an opportunity, right? Either I'm going to have to like somehow pay to custom build it in-house, or there has to be other lawyers and consultants and professionals that are experiencing the same pain that I was, right? So that was kind of the inspiration behind it. Now, what does it do is it helps you manage and prepare immigration applications really quickly. So filling in forms, gathering supporting documents, prepping submission letters, right? Everything that comes with managing, preparing, submitting, communicating with your client back and forth, all in one platform. So that's really kind of what it does at its core.
Hmm, sounds nice. What is the product all about? Like you said that it helps you become more efficient with applications. So what else? Like what are the certain features you would point out which are your favorite?
Yeah, well, one thing I've learned over the years, and this is a semi-tangent, but it'll make sense in a second. Like, one of the main things I've learned since switching from being a full-time immigration lawyer to a full-time tech founder is that a platform, especially in its early days, if you're building tech, and this maybe goes to people who are thinking about, starting a tech company, is start by doing one thing really well. Start by automating one thing very well. So that's why I say we are an application workflow. We don't do 100 things. Visto doesn't do 100 things. It does one thing extremely well. It helps you interact with your client to prepare applications really quickly. So some of the key features that our clients love are, for example, we have one-click form filling. So if you're preparing a study permit or you're preparing a work permit to come to Canada or on behalf of a client that wants to come to Canada, you actually have to fill out multiple forms, right? Let's take study permit, for example, right? You're working with a client, they want to come to Canada on a study permit. What do you need? You need a form called IMM 1294. You need a family information form. You need a use of representative form, right? If you're an immigration lawyer or an immigration consultant. You might need a Schedule 1 form. If they're bringing spouse, common law partner, children, there's a whole other, whack of forms that you need for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need multiple forms. The other part is there are duplicate questions across these forms, right? So for example, all those forms I just mentioned, 1294, family information, use of rep, they all need your client name. They all need your client date of birth, right? Just as an example. So what all of these immigration firms are doing right now is when they're preparing a study permit, they have people. They might be lawyers, they might be consultants, they might be admin staff, they might be clerks, they might be anything, who are quite literally copy pasting client names onto multiple different forms. Okay, now birth date, multiple different forms. You know what I mean? So the fact that now it's 2024, right? It's January 2024, which is crazy. But anyways, it's 2024 and you have these small, sometimes medium, sometimes large firms who are paying staff to copy and paste people's date of birth onto multiple forms, right? You're alluding to AI earlier. We can put people on Mars and we can use AI to do this, that, and the other, but we have teams of staff copy pasting birthdays onto multiple forms, right? So, anyways, why do I say that? One of our core features is one-click form filling. Your client logs into Visto, they fill out one form, you can review it and make changes on the one form, you click one button, boom, all the other forms are filled out for you in one shot, right? As an example. The other feature I like to highlight, because most people don't realize how great it is until they actually use Visto, is we have one-click merge, compress, and rename of supporting documents. So what does that mean? If you're preparing that study permit, you have to fill out forms, and you also have to gather supporting documents, right? Passport, letter of acceptance, proof of funds, study plan, blah, 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 right? Wide variety of different supporting documents. can differ based on type of application, can differ based on what country the client's applying from, blah, blah, blah. What happens? You've probably experienced this, Bonnie. You get a client, and what do? They send you 7 emails with 43 PDFs, and they're all named 100, IX3 2004, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And now what do you have to do? You have to review them, you have to organize them, you have to merge them. You might have to compress them if they're too big and they won't upload successfully onto the IRCC website. You have to rename them so you can save them properly on your end and actually remember what the heck file is what, right? So this is another task that some of our clients say might take them 30, 60, 90 minutes per application just to merge and compress and rename PDFs, right? Now, I don't know about you, but when I was working as a lawyer, one thing that kept going through my head, because when I started out, I was doing it all myself,
Mm-hmm.
was why in the world did I go to law school and take all those tests and pay all these fees to spend an hour per application merging and compressing PDFs, right? So anyways, what do we have in Vista? We have one-click merge, compress, and rename, right? So you gather all your supporting documents from your client in Vista. They're all saved under certain headings based on the type of document. You can reorder them however you'd like. You click one button and they get merged, compressed, and renamed in the exact order and format that you need them in to upload onto the IRCC portal. So just where are the biggest time sinks? And this is how we, our ethos of designing new products and features at Visto is number one, we communicate with our clients, obviously, but the question is, how are firms operating right now? And what are they spending the most amount of time on that we could automate so that they don't have to do that anymore and they can focus on more important things? So anyways, long answer, but hopefully, sufficient given the
Yeah,
given the
it does.
topic.
It does cover, and I totally understand because before I was introduced to a lot of other tools, I was doing the same thing, and it's very time consuming, and especially with the PDFs. I mean, date of birth and names don't hurt as much as the PDF merging hurts. So totally understood, and I think that makes so much more sense when it comes to maybe reducing time and creating a balance with work and everything because I understand that you have a client file and it takes you so many hours and you as a lawyer, like personally I feel you can't overcharge the client as well even though it's taking you so much time. So I feel that such tools maybe bring a little more ease to us as lawyers or maybe our CIC agents, whoever's is related relatively doing immigration. Which comes to my next question: what is the pricing of the product?
Yeah, so we charge a monthly subscription. We have
Mm-hmm.
3 tiers. It's all on our website, right? So I definitely would say if there's any immigration lawyers, consultants, study abroad agents listening to this and they're interested, you can go to visto.ai, visto.ai, and you can click on pricing in the top right. And all of our pricing's there, right? I
Perfect.
never liked websites that kind of hide the pricing behind, whatever. So anyways, it's all right there. But basically what it is, it's a monthly subscription, right? So based on what tier you have, you get X amount of users, right? So staff for your firm. So your own firm can have, for example, on our basic plan, you
Mm-hmm.
have up to 5 accounts. So
Okay.
Bonnie and up to 4 of her partners or assistants, or you can each have your own login, your own profile pictures, etc. And up to, for example, on our base plan, you can create up to 10 new applications per month. So for example, you could create 10 study permit applications or 5 study permit and 5 work permit applications. And then it just kind of goes up from there based on what type of volume your firm is doing, right? So we still want to be able to help smaller firms or mom and pops or, new practitioners. Or for example, we have some users that are small by design, right? It's a consultant or a lawyer. They work by themselves. They don't want to manage staff. They don't want to hire staff. They don't want to pay staff. They do, 2, 3, 8 applications a month, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to do them fast because the faster they do them, the faster they can shut their laptop at the end of the day and go spend time with family or whatever, right? Going to your earlier point, Bonnie, like about, charging and stuff like that, the Canadian immigration industry is for the most part fixed fee. right? Which means we're not billing hourly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're doing application work, maybe a little bit different on the litigation side, I don't know. But if you're submitting applications, it's, 99% of firms are charging fixed fee,
Yeah,
right? So what does that mean? That means your client's paying you X and, you know, doesn't matter how many hours it takes you to do it. But if you can reduce the number of hours it takes you to do it, you're saving time and your margins go up,
for
right?
sure.
And or with that free time, you can then go get more clients and you can increase your top line, right? So anyways, just, wasn't part of the question, but wanted to mention that as an important factor.
Okay, and how to build our own custom application with the software. And with that, how would we prepare an immigration application with Wisto? And just adding a little bit onto this question is that um, how do you have most individuals joining Wisto, or do you have more lawyers and RCIC agents joining Wisto? Like, do you ever have individuals? Is my question. Who, like, for example, I want to go and do my spousal sponsorship. Do you ever have clients like that as well, or no?
Not anymore. We don't sell B2C anymore. We
Mm-hmm.
initially did. We still do have like a B2C product, but most of our like we only sell to immigration firms
Mm-hmm.
kind of by design, and we can get into that if you want. But yeah, at this point, all of our users are immigration lawyers, immigration consultants. We have study abroad agents that use Visto, different types of travel companies and stuff like that that are doing a lot of visas, maybe it's TRVs or study permits and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that question. Now, how do you start an application? There's really two ways. One is Visto has pre-built visa flows, right? So for example, I would go try some other platforms, and what do you have to do? You have to set everything up, right? You still have to create checklists, send them to your clients, blah, 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 right? There's none of that with Visto. What we've done for the temporary applications, study permit, work permit, visitor visa, inside Canada, outside Canada, LMIAs, those types of applications, is we have an out of the box visa flow, which means you can click on study permit from outside Canada and invite your client and you're done. We've automated the document checklist creation. We know what forms to fill out, right? You don't have to click, oh, I need a 1294 because I'm doing a study permit, right? We have it all baked into the back end. So that's one way for the temporary applications, and we're slowly adding in more of the PR applications, is one click out of the box custom visa flows,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is really helpful for new practitioners as well. If you're new to immigration or if you're new to being an immigration lawyer or consultant, you might not know the intricacies of a work permit ICT document checklist. Well, good news, you don't have to, right? We already have it designed on the back end to
Mm-hmm.
fill out the right forms with the right document checklist for you, right? So there's that. Now, we also have an application builder, right? Why? Because a lot of our clients do PR applications, they do PNPs, they might even do stuff like refugee, H&C, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can actually go in and build your own application in Visto. So you can build a custom form, you can build a custom document checklist, you can set what you want from a main applicant versus what you want from a child versus what you want from a spouse or common law partner. Build it once, use it over and over again. Or you can edit our flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're doing a lot of work permits and you love the Visto one-click, workflow, but you always like to ask for these two documents no matter what IRCC says or the embassy says for whatever reason. You can duplicate a Visto workflow and add in your own rules and custom documents and then use that over and over again. So basically, use or build Visa workflows once, use them over and over again for all your clients to save time prepping their documents.
Makes sense. That's very interesting. So I think I need to fast track using Visto now. I need to get off my break and start using Visto.
Hey, we're
Okay.
here we're here when you're ready, Bonnie.
Great. Okay. So I think you answered most of my questions. So let's just get to, um, checking out what Wisto is and the website. I kind of gave an intro to everybody, but just I just want to, get your insights on the website. And I guess I also explained how to get started was to book a demo or reach out to the website directly. So let's just check it out with you now.
Sounds good. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen and I'll actually take you all through some of the features I just mentioned, right?
Perfect.
Ironically, so that you can kind of, put the visual in your head to what we talked
Mm-hmm.
about. So just to kind of get started, as I mentioned, we focus on doing one thing better than anybody, I think, at least in Canada, is
Mm-hmm.
helping you manage and prep immigration applications, right? So I always like to show off this page because it's our board view. This is where you can kind of see, all your clients in one place, what step they're at, what type
Mm-hmm.
of application it is. And the reason for this is, you can filter by visa type, you can filter by date, all that kind of stuff. The reason for this is I used to have like a weekly or monthly check-in and just want to see, hey, where are all of my clients? What's the status of all of our files right now? You know what I mean? I used to love using a tool called Trello, which is a Kanban board where you can kind of like slide stuff along. So
Mm-hmm.
we built that into Visto, which, our clients really like for managing everything, especially if you have a lot of staff and you need a daily or a weekly check-in or something like that. Now, once you create an actual application, you now have one page where you can manage everything, right? You can assign different staff. So maybe you want Bonnie to do all the TRVs, but you
Mm-hmm.
want Billy to do all the study permits, right? You can assign which staff have access to which application. You and your client have access to what we call a progress tracker. So you can actually track step by step, right? What's happening, dates, reminders, updates get sent automatically to clients and stuff like that. And then once your client onboards onto Visto, we auto generate a custom list of tasks and supporting documents that they can get started on right away. So if you're spending a lot of time, creating these templated checklists and editing them for each client and sending them by email, you don't ever have to do that again with the custom backend that we've created. In
Okay.
terms of the form filling, pretty standard intake form, right? So again, you're doing something like a study permit that I alluded to earlier. You
Mm-hmm.
now have all the questions in one place. Your client fills them out. They can comment back and forth if they have questions with you. Bonnie can come in, review, edit, fill in the blanks, fix spelling mistakes. Click one more button, and we auto generate all of the PDFs for that application, as I mentioned, right? So you can see right here, the 1294, you can choose which family information form you want. So we have
Mm-hmm.
5707 and 5645. You can pick which one. They all come filled out. The use of rep form as well, right? As I mentioned earlier, the entire thing gets filled out. Client name, firm information, and you can also one-click send for e-signature. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And then, as I said, schedule one if they answer yes to the background questions, full forms for spouse, common law partner, and children. Uh, Second last thing I just want to show you really quick is that supporting documents I mentioned, right? So your client comes in, they have this custom generated supporting document checklist, description of the documents. They can just drag and drop their files right here. They can upload them from their mobile device, whatever they prefer. They can
Mm-hmm.
upload PDFs. They can upload pictures. Look at this well-shaven and, dressed up guy here. And you can kind of edit all the documents. You can comment back and forth. You can request changes if you need more stuff uploaded. You can delete. And then, as I said, you can reorder, right? You can see, hey, look at how well my client named all these files, right? That's so helpful. But when they're done and you've reordered everything, you have all the documents, you click one more button and Visto will merge, compress, and rename the entire folder. So you get one file, everything separated by family member, and now we have all the supporting documents. They've been merged, compressed, and renamed automatically following the spousal sponsorship portal naming convention. So your client last name dash first name dash name of document is
Mm-hmm.
all done for you automatically. The last thing I quickly want to touch on
Sure.
is the AI, Bonnie, which is kind of where we started.
Yeah.
So we're just warming up with some of our AI features. I don't know what maybe you can say when this video is going to be going live, but we have some big AI features that'll be coming out probably in the next 1 to 3 months.
Okay.
Right now we have stuff like AI document generation. So for example, a one-click submission letter generator where we pull your firm letterhead, we have a custom cover letter, right? Name of application, name of client, full details of their background, family members included in the application, document checklist, and then even a sign off by the lawyer or the consultant who's on file. And then, of course, you can edit the whole thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, just again, thinking about how do we help professionals prep everything really quickly, right? There's plenty more features. We'd be here all day if I showed you, right? You can translate the entire app or your client, right? Maybe they want to work in a language that they're more comfortable in. We have drag and drop post submission documents, right? You want to send a biometrics request letter, passport request letter, etc. You select the family members, you drag and drop the document, they get sent automatically to your clients with instructions on what to do next. So just again, really thinking through how do you prep, manage, communicate ASAP with your client? That's kind of the question that we're always trying to answer and improve upon.
That
And that's
sounds
Visto.
amazing. That
And
sounds
I
really
mean, the
good.
other thing too, Bonnie, is we're always this is the worst you'll ever see it because usually every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how quick we're moving, we're adding in new features, right? New AI, new automation, new whatever. So, if you're watching this down the road, we're recording it in January 2024. But if you're watching it down the road, there's probably many more features that have been added, depending on how long it's been
Yeah,
since
no,
this
I
went
think
live.
I've
But
I've been
that's the
following
fun part.
Wisto since a really long time now. It's been approximately 6 months, and I've seen a lot of new features drop in from the last time I took a demo. So that totally for all our viewers out there, please keep tabs. I'm gonna link Josh Wisto and Josh's LinkedIn profile, and I know he keeps posting a lot on LinkedIn because he's been my mentor with LinkedIn before. So I'm going to link his profile, Wisto, and a little bit of information about Wisto. So keep your eyes open for more updates and everything. And definitely, this is our first. You're our first guest for the AI show, which I'm starting now, and the video is going to be up next week. So in January 2024. And yeah, thank you so much for
Awesome.
being our first guest. And just to let all my viewers know, he's a great inspiration for all of us because he's always on the go and always motivating other people to practice and to do immigration. And he gives all his secrets out. I don't know how he's working with that, but he gives all his secrets out. So you can reach out to him otherwise as well.